Good evening. We are live. Sorry, guys, for the delay. I was trying to get Rumble all set up. I know Rumble's been fighting us a little while, so let's see if it's working tonight. I'm really trying to make sure this works here. Looks like it's kind of going. I did set it, so it should be okay. And if you're in Rumble land, please blink twice and let me know what's working. So let's see here. Anyways, good evening to everybody else. My name is Sean, also potentially criminal if you're new. Welcome for stopping by. I know there were some new faces during the reading of Judge Gull's response brief in the Richard Allen trial we did earlier this week, so I'd like to welcome you. If you are new, to everybody else, hello and welcome. Oh, I'm muted. Jeez, that's great. Could you guys hear me? It looked like it was muted. I'm not sure. Anyways, I want to say hello to everybody. Okay, that's good. I was not sure. But I want to welcome everybody if you're out there on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Kick, Rumble, and over on Locals. If you guys are new and you're not sure what Locals is, we have basically it's Patreon. It's Patreon without all the nonsense attached to it. And it's a place where we can hang out, spend time. And just like Patreon, you can become a member for free. And if you wish to support, you can do so for $3 a month. If you pay for 10 months, you get 2 months free. With that paid support, you get access to 2 live shows a week I do over on Locals. I do a Monday night show. It really depends on how long I'm going to go. Sometimes we've gone for, maybe an hour or so. Sometimes we've gone 3.5 hours. Really just depends on how well the night's going, just how well we're kind of vibing, as the kids say. And then every Thursday night after this show, we do a show over on Locals. We get to hang out. It's kind of like an after show and relax. And it's a great place to hang out. It's where you can talk about things and we can, kind of joke around things that necessarily weren't appropriate for here and are a little off topic. I think it's a good fit for what's going on over there. So you can do that over at potentiallycriminal.locals.com. And for, if you're curious about it, just a little bi-curious about it, you can use the promo code CRIMINAL for 1 month free, and that's 1 month free access. And I did not put the banner up so you guys can see it. But yes, the promo code CRIMINAL, you can get 1 month free. Gives you a chance to try it. There's no obligation. If you don't like it, I understand. There's articles that get posted. I post articles, things that are going on, comments, things like that. Other members in the community can do it as well. And also, I try to put up some content that is solely for you guys over there. I think sometimes it's rather than more hilarious parts of the law. And I try to leave it up there for you guys solely there over at potentiallycriminal.locals.com. So with that said, I want to say hello to everybody over in Locals. The live chat should be up right now because we do one every Thursday night there where everybody gets to hang out. And that should be live if you guys are in there. Just say hello to everybody. Now, in the meantime, we have to kind of cover what's the most important parts of things. And that's who was first. And let's check out over in Rumble over in Rumble, it's Laserbiz saying he took an awful amount of shrapnel from Nick yesterday. I'm all right. It wasn't that big a deal. And then first over here on Rumble is J-Rock saying, who brought it up, Sean? Yes. So, yes, if you guys watched it last night, it was a bit interesting. We'll leave it at that unless you guys have questions. Parallax, yes, is saying over on, I have a link tree if you guys are curious to find all my links to all my channels. And like a boomer, I did not have that up yet, but that's what I do. I boom very hard. So, but that is the, I'm not even going to go further on. I can't do it. It's not going to be funny. So I'll just leave it alone. I'll leave it where it is. It's cringe enough. I don't need to make it worse. Where is it? Didn't show. Oh, well, it's gone now, so I can't get in on. I get it over on there. So let's see. I'll tell you this much, guys. If you guys do have questions, I'll answer them. I'll answer them in a super chat. How about that? We'll make this interesting tonight, okay? If we're gonna, you know what? I'm gonna grift. I'll answer the questions for that. Why is this listening to myself? I don't know. That was weird. But if you guys want me to answer questions, put in a super chat and we'll talk about them. All right, we'll put that down. Lemon Party says illicit clip stock is going to the moon. Bye, bye, bye. Yes. Oh, yes, I was late and gay. Yes, I was. Parallax, been a member for 13 months. It's awesome to see numbers like that. The number 13, that's been a while. So thank you, Parallax. I appreciate it. Saying a fun struggle session with Baldo, man. He was a hollering. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Stebby says blink twice if you're okay. Samlo6 for $15. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Appreciate the support very much. Saying, here's a little something for you. Watching the Baldo struggle session was painful. I don't know. I mean, it must have been worse for you guys watching it. It wasn't that bad. I mean, kind of like Aldo Rain, I've been chewed out before. This ain't that bad. Been yelled at before. Not too bad. That's Shame saying hi. Well, we're going to be covering some stuff out your way tonight, so here we go. J-Rock says, I'm sorry for getting you invited on Nick's show last night. That's okay. It's all good. It's all good. It's not your fault. Two Scoops saying, how much of Kurt's reading of the Richard Allen did I end up watching? I didn't get all the way through it. I got to the point where he was reading the press release, which, once again, I mean, that press release shows this judge is acting like a complete buffoon, and I have questions about her competency. So, but yes, I do. I think Kurt's, yes, what was Sean's assessment? Like, judge bad, bad, bad. It's like that's a fair assessment of how I look at this judge right now. I think she's highly incompetent. She's in over her head, and I don't think she understands how to govern this situation. But I think it's pretty close. So, Graham is saying, yes, Tracy Hunter finally stripped of her law license. Yes, that is yeah, that was something. It's a judge here in Ohio. She tried to get her law license back, and they had it taken away from her. But her bigger claim to fame, as far as YouTube is concerned, is her criminal sentencing, where she, and we can cover that real quick. But actually, you know what? I might. Here's the thing. I try to leave the disciplinary issues involving judges to if anybody else wants to cover them, because it's my state and I have to practice here. So, I'll probably actually pass on that today, Graham. We might touch on it a little bit over in. We might touch it over on locals, but probably not here. Charlie, you guys should have the locals chat up. DM said, I missed the flying crap. Not yet. No, don't you worry. Apparently you guys were wrong about the super chat. So, Unhung Hero for $2 says, I'm going to come. Don't come. But last night was very hetero flexible. Oh. Nico's a new member. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Thank you so very much. Let's see here. Sir Marhouse has been a member for 11 months. Thank you so much. I appreciate it very, very much, your support through all that time. And he says, Sean, will you disavow the bad cowman? Yes, cowman bad. Worse than the frogman. Isaac Baruch's wholesome gabagool art for $5. Thank you. Saying, hey, my favorite practicing Santa. Didn't know one could harvest corn in December, especially in Minnesota. Thank you for the early Christmas gift. You're welcome. Gotta get that last bit of corn in. Otherwise, the deer are gonna get it. Winter Soldier says got $288 last night. We can beat that. Yes, you guys certainly can. You know what? Actually, no. I don't think you guys can beat it. I don't think you guys don't have what it takes. You guys can't do that. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, chat. Hunch the Dirty Roofer gifted 10 memberships. Hunch, thank you very much. Hunch, thank you very much. I know whoever is out there getting one of those memberships certainly appreciates it. Although I'm always worried, like, can the host of the channel ever get the memberships? That I don't think YouTube would do that, but I could also see them doing that to screw things over. So hopefully I didn't get one, but anybody who gets one out there, I know they're going to be thrilled to have one. Agrolith says for $5, just answer the fucking question, Sean. Oh. Colostomy Bag says thoughts on the best 10mm high point carbine in 10mm. You can joke all you want, but it's blowback and it's been around forever. And they run pretty much, well, you got a crappy one, they run real well. Unless you could find like an MP5 in 10mm. Cringe Pillar says Parallax is like my version of C. Goody. Yes, except Parallax is good and not cringe. So, yes, he's very good. J-Rock for $2. Thank you. Oh my god. Thoughts on Enter Sandman change after yesterday? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, the next time I hear it, I'm probably going to think about that. So, that's why I'm glad Harvester of Sorrow doesn't have those connotations attached to it. The Real Hydro PX for $5. Thank you. Say Nick was yelling at you and speaking at you like you were his son. I think that was more of and it's not. I mean, it makes sense. You kind of need to when you're dealing with kind of like a nebulous thing. You need some way to personify it, and I became the personification. I was the embodiment of the farms last night, and that's okay because it's hard to kind of yell at a nebulous object, and you can yell at a person, so it works. But like I said, I've been chewed out before. That wasn't that bad. Vorchwu says he's starving for clout. Yes, I'm not sure who, but yes, somebody's starving for clout. That's a shame for $9.99. Thank you. It's saying I'll watch eventually, and I wish to reserve my questions, please. Of course, you can reserve your question. Luke is saying Kurt's opinion was Baldwin was negligent, but there's due process issues. I mean, he was negligent, but it's like oopsie poopsies. I mean, of the grand scheme of things of what's going on, we have the state hiding evidence, lying about things, and the thing we're gonna clutch our pearls over is, oh no, somebody saw the crime scene photos. Whoa. It might prejudice the case. Remember, doesn't matter for prejudice the state's case. Only one side that matters. One side's entitled to the fair trial. You know, it is funny the judge is so worried about what the poor mean old defense attorneys are doing. No, them state prosecutor boys, they do nothing wrong. They just good boys. So no, I think she does have a bias. I think it has been demonstrated. She's not doing things right. And we're gonna Richard Allen's counsel fired back a scathing response to both Judge Gull and the Indiana Attorney General, who, guess what? They took the side of the government saying, oh, it's all good. You know, screw Richard Allen in their response. So Richard Allen and the public defenders came back with both barrels blazing. And it's spicy, and I love every bit of it. And we're going to read that. We're not going to read the Attorney General's one because we knew what was going to happen there. Also, abuse of discretion is fucking hard, which is fair. Yes, abuse of discretion is hard. But if this is not going to get it, this is really, I don't know what would be an abuse of discretion. I mean, this judge is acting absolutely like a crazy person. So, but overall, I mean, yeah, it's not a, no, these are not walk-off home runs. It's going to be tough, but I don't think it's, as hard as a lot of other cases. And I will give Kurt credit, the way, because he came to it new. He read all the way through it, and it's a little different if you don't know anything about it. Hunch for $10. Thank you, Hunch. Saying, looks like I'm going to be stuck in Southwest Florida for another. Let me know if you and the future missus want to escape the frigid north, because I got more Marriott points to spend than I got time to spend them. You're stuck in Southwest. Oh, so you're down like by Naples. Oh, it's nice. Naples is a nice place to be right now. So hopefully you're staying busy down there. But yeah, maybe we will get in touch with you. Luke says, MLS cover the SCOTUS case I sent you if you ain't covering it. I want to cover that, but that entire issue it's separate. That requires its own stream, and that might be tomorrow or over the weekend, because yes, the idea the Georgia Supreme Court can say, well, if the verdict makes no sense, we're going to vacate an acquittal. The idea that you can undo an acquittal is insane. And that it should have never happened like that, and they should never be allowed to do it, but that had to get to the Supreme Court, so we'll see. J-Rock gifted 1 membership. Thank you, J-Rock. Whoever got that, I'm sure, is thrilled. So, thank you very much. Random Longback saying, my brother, the high scorer, got a good deal at a pretrial to get it dropped down to a lesser speeding ticket if he takes a remedial course. He needs a scratch-off ticket. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, if you get a good result, sometimes, yeah, it's not a bad idea to be pretty thankful you got one. I think I remember that before. Yeah, he definitely was going fast. So let's see here. Amateur Iconoclast gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. And whoever got those will appreciate it. And Petty says the High Point Gang. Hey, made in Ohio. Winter Soldier for $20. Buy a fine piece of Euro cheese to give Noel so he may restore your KF cred that Baldo stole. You got the mail. How do I get cheese to Noel? That's going to be the logistical question. J-Rock says, I've never smoked meth at McChesney Park. Where is... I don't remember... McChesney Park. Well, there's a couple of McChesney Parks. Unless I missed the joke here. So... Oh, McChesney Park's in Minnesota. Okay, well, yeah. Arabella is saying, hello. Yes, hello, very much. Yes, happy new month. Very true, right? Beginning. Hunch for $10. Thank you, Hunch. Saying ain't nothing wrong with high points. Y'all want a truck. Y'all want truck pews. I just want a half decent dumper. It'll work when necessary, and I don't care about tossing it in the sewer. I mean, accidentally losing it boating. Yes. Yes. Cedar Rose, can you wear a Santa hat in December if I super chat you $20? I got to find a Santa hat. It may not look like it, but I have like a large head. That's what she said. But no, I actually have a monstrous like skull. So I'm going to, I'd have to find one because otherwise a lot of normal size hats just kind of sit on my head and it's not fun. But if I can find a big enough one, I will. And look into it, especially for the season. Analytical T gifted 10 memberships. Thank you. I'm sure everybody who got one of those is very happy to have one. Trying to catch up with all this. Carrie, been a member for 2 months. Why bend over and take it from Rackets? I mean, did I bend over or was I just let him like L Driver and Kill Bill just run around like thrashing and screaming around after the snake bites? Stop Moss B for $5 says nothing. If you meant to say something there, you can do that. That's okay. Or you meant to say nothing. I'm not sure. But thank you. I appreciate the support. Isaac Baruch's Wholesome Gabagool Art for $5. Thank you. Isaac is saying, out of curiosity, what is the worst chewing out you've had before? I mean, when my brother and I tried to start a campfire in the basement when we were little kids, that was pretty bad. That was really bad. So there's an ass whooping on that one too. That was really bad. Also, could you add a 6th way to Skyline Chili? What would it be and why? The 6th way would be not to eat it because I'm not a big Skyline Chili guy. I mean, I can do the Cincinnati style like if it's homemade chili, but I don't like Skyline. Even when they had one of those where I went to college, and even when I got really drunk, I could not do Skyline. Couldn't do it. It would make me hurl so much. But thank you, Isaac. All right, so we got caught up, guys. Sorry about that. Normally, we only about 10 minutes of hanging around time, but I had to catch all that up. So let's get started. All right, one more. J Rock for $2 says Nick's seething rage picks have me rolling. Yeah, there are a lot of funny screenshots from that whole thing that have been. And there's starting to be some funny artwork out there too. But enough of that. Let's get to it. All right. So I guess we'll start off with, at the beginning here, the beach diddler. Now, this is very interesting. This was a woman got arrested for, well, I guess we'll say working it, doing some self-care on the beach with a oscillating machine that you can hold in your hands. And she got caught by somebody, and that person called the police. And, well, they showed up, and they interviewed her, and that body cam was released just recently. And there's a lot, basically, this woman sadly did commit suicide. I know people like to use this term. Oh, she self-deleted or Roblox herself. You just say the word. I mean, let's be adults. I mean, if YouTube's going to do what it does, let's do it. But this is this is going to be the actual interaction she has with the police. Now, notice what she does. Notice what she does. She doesn't shut up. So that's probably one of the biggest things here. She doesn't close her pie hole. So here we go. And this was down in Georgia back in 2021.
I was just sitting on my tail, nobody was around me.
Okay, and you were over at the beach?
Like I was near the water.
Near the water?
Yeah. What did I do? What did I do?
So apparently you're masturbating on the beach.
Who saw that?
I mean, a couple.
Why would you say it like that? Yeah, who saw? Well, we have an allegation you murdered somebody. Who saw that? How does anybody know I did it? No, why would you remember? Like, you know how she's sitting there kind of duck faced at the beginning? No, she's like, whoa. But we gotta find that spot where she's got her lips closed. Like, that's what you need right now. Yeah, right there. Right there. There. Lips closed. That's what you need to do. Close your lips. Go. Mm. That's what you need to do right now. So that's the problem here. Shut up. Shut up. I mean, I will give her credit. She's drinking decent beer for the beach. Drinking American beer.
What did I do?
So apparently you're masturbating on the beach.
Who saw that?
I mean, a couple people.
No, they
Family.
didn't. That's not true.
Why would they call us?
Nobody was around. Was it an anonymous call?
And it just shut up. Don't tell them.
Is this one of my buddies? Okay,
No,
one of my buddies.
No, it's not one of your buddies. It's a family.
Okay, look, let me show you what I did.
Okay. Now, once again, you're not going to convince them that you were whacking it or whatever it is you're doing. They're going to be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. You're not going to talk your way out of this.
Okay.
Is there anything in the bag?
And by the way, she doesn't demonstrate it. So if this is safe for work.
No.
Is it all right if I look through it? I mean, if you can open it and can I see the contents inside the bag?
No, don't consent to a search. No. Bad moron.
Yes. I don't really understand what y'all are.
We're just here because someone called and we're very concerned. Okay.
This is really highly offensive to me.
I got you. And that's why I'm trying to figure it out.
It's my vibrator, but I just put it in I was sitting on the
She tells them.
beach and I just okay, do I get a ticket?
So you did have a vibrator.
Listen, I was sitting on the water like this and I just put it in there and it was covered up and I just had an orgasm. I'm sorry, I was stressed out.
Okay, just hang tight for me.
I'm sorry.
I mean, look at them. They're laughing at her like, I can't believe she just admitted to this. Also at the beach, like, ain't you worried about getting like sand on that and stuff? Like,
Okay, so what if this is anonymous call?
I mean, if nobody saw it, they wouldn't have called, right?
Man, please, don't do this to me. Are you serious?
A family saw it. They had kids.
What? There was nobody around me.
So. It's a bullet.
of course, the guy's got like a neck beard on. Stick it through. I want to dig through there. I'll find the vibrator. Look at that guy. He's like, where's the vibrator? I'll find it.
Style. That's what they call it. Oh, Jesus. Knows you going through it. You logging everything.
I didn't get this far. I love how she's holding like the sunglasses and she's like, it's like, I want to touch it.
She admitted to it. She said she had an orgasm on the beach and all that other good mess. So, yeah. All right. Cool. Someone saw it, so that's why we're here. You know. I mean, if you're gonna do something like that, don't get caught. That's all I have to say.
So that's yes, if you're gonna do it, don't get caught. I mean, thank you for that brilliant advice, officer. I'm sure she wouldn't have been able to figure that out on her own. So there is some updates to the information here, and this is from recently. So it appears the woman, her name, Christina Glick, she has since passed away. Now, yes, this is embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing what happens here. This is not very good. And yeah, this is one of the issues with, the public having access to free information. But the public has a right to know what its police are doing, and it's public information, and it's one of the downsides of it that public's going to find out about your business if you get arrested. I mean, that's we see on the internet when internet celebrities, Chris Chan, other lol cows interact with the cops. We get to find out what happened, and yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of public shaming and stigma, and yeah, I mean it's awful, it's horrible what happened to her, but uh, that's if you had shut up, I bet that she wouldn't have been arrested. I honestly believe that if she had just nothing would have happened. Patty says, would she be put on the sexual offender registry for this? If it's a misdemeanor offense, typically, at least in my understanding of most states, you have to do this more than once. I don't think this would alone get her caught or put on the registry. So when you ever hear the idea of like, oh, well, so-and-so got on it because they were peeing behind a garbage can, generally that's not the case. They were doing something a lot more. So, yeah. Oh, Graham, yes, saying Noah Betts. Yes, he is a mad lad out of Wisconsin. We covered him actually probably like a year ago now on a Saturday night with all of his interactions with the police, acting like a crazy man. I don't think he's got anything new lately. I think he stayed out of trouble. Lemon Party says she could have cashed in on her fame and made it OnlyFans. Yeah, she could have. Very, very true. I mean, at that point, why not? Because it's, like Ave says, you've already fucked it up. You can't make it worse. And Zero Fuck says, yes, he's right. It's peeing on the garbage can onto the 8-year-old boy behind the garbage can. Is generally how that goes. That's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. And there's a couple of super chats here we need to catch up on. Crystal Hart for $10. Thank you, Crystal. Is saying, I like you, Sean, but I want to see us beat Nick's super chat total more. I'll take it. I'll allow it. Winter Soldier for $5 saying, which lips should she have closed, Sean? Both of them. Both sets of lips. Darcy for $20. Thank you, Darcy. Thank you very much. Is saying, I'm dying. Chili did this video. Yeah. It's like freaking pig. She did nothing wrong. Now, certainly we can argue, what, like, did it look like she was in a porn getting drilled by like 5 guys or something? What actually happened? So I think there's some issue there. Yeah, would it be nice to the cops not to arrest for this? Yeah, but once again, when you tell on yourself, you make it really easy for them to arrest you. So, and I'm sure Chili didn't focus on that part, but who knows? Who knows? But thank you very much. Two Scoops saying you have to be caught more than once. Typically, that's the case unless you do something really, really bad. Let's see here. Cringe Peddler saying if she only had a man with a ballot in her life. Yeah. So Owen Howard said these officers, didn't feel a damn thing when learning of her death. I mean, this is one of those times where should they have? I mean, the woman admitted to committing a crime. I don't know if they should have felt, anything specifically. So, I mean, it's a bummer, but this is self-inflicted. She snitched on herself. She told on herself, which, I mean, at that point, it's like, well, what do you want them to do? You admit to the police you commit a crime. They only have their flow chart is very simple: arrest, don't arrest. There's only 2 roads. The road forks. It's very simple to them. So when you make it easy for them, they'll take the arrest route. So, yeah. Yes, that one give Tucker spitting clam joke. We suck at this. Yeah, yes, we do. Oh. So we are going to move on to Isaac Baruch's for $2. Thank you. Is saying literally self-inflicted in 3 different ways. Well played, sir. Well played. Well played. Eliza saying, I don't know. She was wrong, but I don't think I'd call the police. Maybe I should, but I don't think I would. I don't. Yeah, I mean, is that the thing? Like, if I'm walking on the beach, would I have said anything? I don't know. Maybe I'd get out my phone and be like, watch this, what's going on? Like, click, maybe. But I like I said, I'm curious to know what actually happened on this end, because sometimes it's not exactly how the witnesses clutching their pearls describe it. Analytical T gifted 20 memberships. Holy cow. Thank you very much. I know, wow, whoever's getting one of those, make sure you guys say thank you, because I know it's, those memberships are great. Let's see here. All right, we are going to move on now to the Young Thug trial. If you guys are not aware, Young Thug and his friends are engaged in a trial down in Hotlanta, Fulton County. You guys in Fulton County are like, huh? Trump and Fannie do 100. Well, this is a preview, I think, of what's going to happen in this trial. And what do we know so far? Well, the trial's been I think not really. Yeah, it's been a disaster. Trying to get through jury selection, there were multiple problems with the juries. There have been multiple problems getting throughout the case. The attorneys acting improper, causing a lot of problems. Well, it started this week, and it's certainly it did not fail to deliver. And there were multiple things done, and I think one of the bigger ones is starting straight out into the opening arguments. Now, there are multiple defendants in this case. It's just like Trump's case. It's a RICO case, except this is a gang. There are concerns about the rap lyrics getting in, what they're doing with any of that. So there's some moving parts of this we're not going to have time to get into, but I do think there's a lot of things that are worth covering. And one of those I think is very interesting, is the state's use of is the state's opening arguments, and they commit a bit of an oopsie. So this started was the burden shifting argument made by the state, and it doesn't sound bad at first. And I will also say, before you guys get too far, Megan Cuniff, she has been following this trial, and she's been following on Twitter. She's really, really good. I really recommend her. She's a really good follow. She breaks a lot of it down, and this is the state's. This is their A team. This is one of their great groups of prosecutors running this case. So this is a preview of the Trump trial and what it's going to turn into. And here we go. Let's just listen in to what happens here.
What you will not hear any evidence of is that the defendants were not involved in a criminal street gang. you will not hear any evidence that they did not commit crimes on behalf of YSL. And as I stated to you earlier, what I'm saying to you now is
Let me object to that statement, please, as burden shifting.
Object basis?
Burden shifting. And under Parker versus the state at 277.
Why don't we take that up and
39.
I'll note your objection. I'm sustaining the objection. Why don't you rephrase, madam?
Now, this is on opening arguments, an objection getting sustained right off the bat. That's a big deal. Now, normally, I know a lot of guys are like, oh, you're not supposed to object during opening closings. I mean, you're not supposed to just for like the lulls, but if the state's not doing its job, yeah, you got to jump in.
yes, Your Honor.
Just rephrase it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to explain to you at the appropriate time, ladies and gentlemen, what the burden is in this case. Remember what I told you earlier, that the burden never shifts to the defendants to prove for certain innocence, they're presumed innocent. And it's only until you hear evidence that you decide is sufficient, and I'll instruct you on how you're supposed to do that at a later point in time, okay? All right.
The evidence will show that YSL.
Now, why is this? How did this shake out like that? Well, the biggest way, and I've tried to explain this, when you're a prosecutor, you shouldn't be going out there saying what the defendant's not going to be able to show. You should be able to focus on, what am I going to show you? Because when you're starting to say the other guy can't prove anything, well, it's his job. It's not their job to prove a damn thing. Sure, he's got a defense team, but young Thug could sit there and play Sudoku every day. Yeah, him and his attorney could play Risk. That you're not going to see evidence of their, exculpatory evidence. You're not going to see evidence of their innocence. Like, that's not what you should be saying to the prosecutor. You should here's what I've got. I got this bag full of evidence. I'm going to lay it out on the table, and you're going to have no other option but to convict him. You should be focused, when you're the prosecutor, you should be focused on your case. This shouldn't be an issue of, what's a defendant? No. I mean, and I routinely am in closing arguments, the defense, as soon as I hear the words defense coming, the defense didn't, I object. It doesn't matter what I did or didn't do. It's your case. What did you prove? The defense didn't do this. The defense object, that is not my obligation. Your evidence needs to stand on its own, regardless if I present a case or not as a defense. Because remember, they don't have to do anything. Your case has to stand on its own 2 feet. And I mean, this is, there's so many ways they could have done this better. They could play Battleship. Yeah. Stabby saying, you brought it up. Prove the negative, Sean. Say it. Yes, Iman saying, who brought it up, Sean? Who? Britt, we're going to get to that in a second. So that's not the only issue that's going on in this case. There's actually a lot of funny things that have happened since then. This is a little more serious. But even funnier, during Long Crime's showing of this screen right here, where there was some, one of the parties was using it as an aid and there was some testimony going on. This is the jury. Right here. This is the jury. And No Jumper, from fame of what's the name? What is that dude's name? He lets his wife get bawled out by other dudes on camera. And he's like, oh, it's all awesome. Lena the butt plug or whatever she goes by. Yeah, they show it. Now, here's the thing. It's not his fault. This was published things. This was on the Long Crime stream. Cool. There's nothing wrong with him publishing this. It's already out there. It's not his fault. He has no obligation not to. But Law and Crime screwed up by, I mean, these people were identified apparently fairly quickly. Now, the thing is, these jurors apparently were not told by the court about this. I mean, that's where I have a problem. Adam 22. Yeah, there we go. So that's the problem. Yeah, LNC docks the jury again. Yes, they did. Long cucked hard. So, and yes, our J-Rock is saying a typical Fulton County shit show. Speaking from being down in Fulton County. Our man in Hotlanta, J-Rock. So now it's a problem. Now it's a problem. But the jury doesn't know about it. And I think that's actually wrong by the judge. That jury has a right to know they've been exposed and their identity's out there. Because if they don't want to be on the jury, they should have the right. They should have informed consent. I think that, they are there as a separate group of people. They've been ordered to be there, but they still have rights. I think it's wrong that they haven't been informed. Now, would a court like if this were to get challenged, the appellate court to probably uphold the trial court, but I don't think this is the right decision. So that is it's very interesting. So that happened. And then this happened. The state brought up one of their experts who's a detective in their gang unit. And he was talking about, they're throwing up their gang signs. Okay. Well, the defense attorney for one of the groups gets up on cross and just lights this detective apart. And this is beautiful. This is that get in, get out, just that quick stab. And you walk away. I mean, this is short but sweet cross. Here we go.
Are charged with writing reports that reflect the truth so that someone down the road, maybe a prosecutor, can rely on that information and know if to or how to prosecute someone, right?
Yes.
That is extremely important. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
All right. And so when you write your report, and when you were writing reports back in 2013, those things were just as important then as they are today in this courtroom, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so you weren't a rookie officer back in 2013. You had been on the force for some 7 years?
Yes.
Okay. And so before coming in here to testify, whether it's today, I don't know, yesterday, last week, whatever, did you have an opportunity to sit down with the prosecutors and talk to them about your testimony and your recollection of the events of 2013? Did you do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, if you guys aren't aware, this RICO case covers a massive time frame, almost 10 years into the past, of criminal activity that's going on for years and years and years. So it's not just something that happened in 2020. This goes way back.
Right. And you still came in here today, and this is the first time, right, that you're mentioning anything about gang signs that you saw when you were brought in here to testify in this, quote, gang case, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, just out of curiosity, what was the gang sign?
That's important. Oh, these gang signs are important. Yeah, because we're part of the RICO case is you're establishing they're a criminal organization, that they have this common cause. They work together. Well, what do gangs do? They got colors, they got symbols, they've got signs. We're just learning. He's just now talking about today. And now he's going to ask the critical question.
Just out of curiosity, what was the gang sign?
Hold on, what's the basis for your objection?
Well, with respect to.
What's the basis of your objection?
For first time.
I'm going to overrule the objection.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Adams.
That prosecutor has no reasonable grounds to object. The form of the question, what? This is the first time we've heard it, right? Yes. I mean, there's no problem with the form. This is somebody who realized, we're going to get caught here. We're going to look like bad. Oh, no, we're going to look like liars.
Okay. What was the gang sign you saw being thrown up that day?
No idea.
No idea.
None.
Okay. You know it's a gang sign, right?
Yes.
Okay. You said something.
Yes, it was a gang sign. Well, what was it? I don't know. I mean, that's just brilliant. Yes. Oh, they're in a gang. How do you know? Oh, they're doing the sign. Well, what signs were you doing? I couldn't tell.
Well, I wanted to touch on real quick. You said that you will quote your words now, mentally incorporating the gang sign in describing the person to being the most aggressive. Is that what you said?
I did.
Mentally incorporating it. But you don't know what gang sign we're talking about.
No, sir.
All right. That's all I got.
All right. Maybe
Yeah, so
Sir?
that's brilliant work there, officer. Brilliant work. And then I think the last, and this is a bit more interesting. And what happened? Where did it go just now? I think I just lost it. Oh, crap. I just lost it. Hold on. I got to bring it back up now. Dang it. There was one more thing, and this is just an issue of how to handle things in court as far as exhibits are concerned. Here we go. Now, this is this guy here is Young Thug himself, his defense attorney, okay? Brian Steele, this is his actual attorney. He's opening up a box that's got a firearm in it. So here we go. This is something that actually, if you're an attorney, you have to be very mindful of. You may not think about it. And attorneys do get in trouble for this once in a while. And some judges are very nice about it. Like this judge, some judges get like very pissed. But you'll see what he does.
from running a computer check, it comes up stolen from the serial number. Is that how it works?
Yes.
Okay. And you found the item, though, underneath the passenger seat on the floorboard. Is that right?
I need to teach you about handling weapons. Please point the muzzle always downward, no matter if it's unloaded, okay?
I know it's unloaded, but yes,
You
sir.
make everybody nervous, okay? To include Mr. Kearns, who you're pointing it at. All right.
I apologize, Mr. Kearns.
Now that's funny, but that does happen. I mean, I've seen a courtroom before where the attorney picks up the gun and he's just asking questions, and while he's asking the question, his hand's going, and this pistol, I mean, it's safed. There's usually a trigger lock through it and the cable going through it. This gun's just waving around the courtroom, and you're like, holy shit. I remember I was like brand new attorney. I was watching this happen, and the guy had the gun. He was just kind of like going around everywhere, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, geez. The judge said, counsel, please stop. And this was judge. He actually, he wasn't a big gun guy, but he's like, look, point the gun at the ground, please. He says, I don't need anybody else to have a gun pointed at him today. He said, people usually, if they want to get guns pointed at them, they pay to go be a cop or join the army to get guns pointed at them. Nobody here paid to get a gun pointed at him. I remember the way he said it too, and I'm like, and I think the judge was just like done with it. But yes, it's a very critical thing, especially when you have bigger guns like shotguns, rifles. You've got to be able to do that. I know, for example, when I was a assistant prosecutor, one of my colleagues, she had to try a case the year before, a couple of years prior, where a guy had broken into, I think it was from like Columbus. He was a SWAT team member. A guy broke into this dude's car and stole like the MP5 out of the car and a couple of other guns. So like this MP5 was in evidence, and this guy went to trial. So the prosecutor actually got the police to bring the evidence to court. They held a pretrial hearing, and because there were so many, like there was an AR-15 and an MP5, and it wasn't just handguns. She wanted the court to say, Judge, how do you want us to handle these? Because it's a little bit different. And basically, he made them carry it, like at not port arms, but the other version of it where everything's facing down, but they had to hold it with both hands when they're doing it. They were using it to let a party identify with it. They weren't going to let them carry it one-handed or carry it by they had to, sometimes you have to go through set that up to make sure nobody gets flagged. I mean, yeah, it's a big deal. William says you have to pay to be a cop. I'm sorry. People get paid. Sorry. In the Dean Cummings trial, the defendant pointed the AR-15 directly at the prosecutor. Yes, he did. And that's, yeah, that is what it is there. And then, yeah, obviously, yes, in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, Binger sat there with the AR, was like, you know, he had it up like this, like he was using it. And you're like, bro, come on. So, yeah. I wanted to catch it. I think I missed it a while back. I'm trying to find it. Where is it? Lost in Law. I saw you earlier. I caught it for a second. I think you said you were trying to set up a raid and it just didn't work out. Well, thank you for being here. He says, you know, I think that contributes to the fear of gun culture of people. A gun proven to be safe can be pointed inadvertently without a big issue. To an extent, yes, I understand what you're trying to say there, but another issue is I've also seen cases where there's a pistol. God, I forget how many years ago. This is years ago. I was still a baby lawyer. And I've made an effort to, especially when I've been in a bigger town. When I was at Toledo, there were court cases going on all the time, trials going on all the time, suppression going on all the time. I made an effort to sit in at least one hearing a month, a hearing or a trial, just so I can get some experience and see what's going on, because you learn by watching. And I sat in a suppression hearing when they pulled out a firearm and it came out of the box. And, you know, somebody was actually it's a trial. Somebody was handling it to identify, yes, it's the firearm. I think it was the victim saying this is what was pointed at me. And then the cop, you know, ended up taking it. Yeah, this is what I recovered at the scene. As he's holding it, the trigger lock falls off. It's a pistol with a trigger lock. It didn't have a cable through it, but it had a trigger lock. I mean, is that gun safe? I mean, at that point, it's like, yeah, it's, you know, you're also trusting whoever put that, you know, lock in there that they did it right. You can't count on any of that. I mean, I agree, but this is one of the big deals of how do most people get shot? The number one reason is I thought it was unloaded. So, you know, gun safety is gun safety, and I think it's only proper to have it. I mean, number one. Number two, if you have some gun safety and you keep, you know, the muzzle on pointed to the ground and all that, and you could do it and you've practiced it and you've thought about it, it does make you look a little slicker. It makes it like the court's not having to correct you on it. But I understand where you're coming from to an extent. So let's see here. Recording Convict for $5. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support, man. It's saying, find the defense attorney's statement comparing the state to anime for the jury, that this is a circus. Get your popcorn. It's the best. I did hear about this, and I'll find it real quick, because that is also one of the other that was a very funny this was very funny. Yeah, I will bring this up because this actually is very good. And also Reformed, I know you mentioned when I was doing the model stream, you mentioned about you mentioned a brand of paint to use, and I don't remember the one you had mentioned. I wrote it down there, but I can't find it. So let me know, because I'm curious. Because I can't find it anymore. Lost and Lost saying, look up the Gerald Stanley case in Saskatchewan. The guy was acquitted of murder since he had a 9-second hang fire. Whew. Yeah, that's a hell of a hang fire. Anything goes says, with a cable lock and trigger lock combined, a gun is safe beyond a shadow of a doubt. Did you put it on? I mean, that's the thing. Like, how do you know who put this on wasn't a bumbling moron? Because that case where the trigger lock fell off, they didn't even lock it. They had just put it on, and through sheer luck, it held itself together before it fell apart in the two halves. So no, you can't trust people because people are stupid. So JC adult saying a chamber flag, it can't be loaded. That is a relying on a piece of plastic that you're gambling, you're going to gamble your life that, hey, there's a piece of plastic that's actually in there working. That's just, I wouldn't do that. Charlie's saying, what's a hang fire? A hang fire is where you pull the trigger, click, and instead of bang, for whatever reason, there's a slow burn in the primer, and it doesn't set the powder off right away, or there's a powder burning issue. And literally, you go bang, and nothing happens, and then all of a sudden, boom, the gun fires. That's a hang fire. It's literally hanging there, kind of there. So. Pepsi Man for $2 says, this is just like one of my Japanese animes. You said create text. Okay, I'm going to have to just... you guys, I'm taking care of that for myself. Thank you, Reformed. I appreciate it. Harbor Warble says, was installed by a window licker. I mean, they work for the police department, so... Nicole says, yes, the first rule of gun safety is to have fun. Yes, you can't forget that. Charlie says, that's not good. Yes, but that happens with defective ammunition, or if you're shooting really old ammunition. Like ammunition from like World War II or older, you can get this a lot. Depending on the quality of the manufacturing, this happens frequently, the way it's stored. A lot of factors can create a hang fire, so... Tim, I forgot your name, but yes, yes, I know you're from Drax. Running a show. Yes, you did elections and the election analyst on Nick's show in 2020. Best fortune to you and your channel. Well, thank you, and thank you for the 5 Canadian. What dollar you do is 5 loonies, 5 loonies, 5 loonies sterling. I don't even call them sterling, but. Gonna have King Charles' face on him. That's got to be great to see that face on all your money now. I do feel sorry about Canada for that regard. Not just Trudeau, but King Charles. Mango Cobra for $10. Thank you. Saying, can we get a toast to Baldwin's friend Mike Career? Yeah. Okay, I'll do a quick yes. To Mike Career. It's sad to see your passing. Yes to you, Mike. Just a little one. Just a little one. So. Yes, Looney Power. Yes, the Looney Power. All right, so we'll get on to the last part of the. This is funny, and it's. This is yeah, we're just gonna have to go to it. This is another one of the attorneys. This is not. I don't believe this is Young Thug's. It's one of his legal team. This is one of the. There's a ton of guys in this that are being tried, and this is one of their attorneys. And I shit you not, this really happened in court.
Indictment. This reminds me of this anime named Bleach, where it's 16 seasons. Every episode is about 18, 20 episodes. Sorry, every season is 18 to 20 episodes. And they have season 4 and 5. They have these bouts. They're villains of the whole thing in season 4 and season 5. The main characters are trying to get them out of soul society. You go to season 6, you don't hear about the bounce. You go to season 7, you don't hear about the bounce. Why don't you hear about these important characters? Because they're filler characters. It's a filler season. Me and Redalius, we're fillers. We're not integral to the story. They just dragged him out of prison to jail. Indictment.
And you heard her. She just said they just dragged him out of prison, her client, because her client's already in prison for murder. So, Yeah, I just, guy's already doing a long stretch in prison, so there's already a lot of problems. That's just yeah. Oh, yeah, that's yeah. Winter says black nerd girl. Yeah, just it's and part of the issue is when you're explaining things, you need to, just like a comedian, um, just like politician, just anybody selling something, you need to know your audience. And I'm not sure that a jury full of normies in Hotlanta are going to be like, oh, yeah, I know that anime. I mean, you can do like Naruto maybe, but not how many of them are going to know that? They're going to be like, oh, that's a weird thing my kid does where he runs with his arms behind his back. Some of them might know. I mean, if you guys know, like there's the Hood Naruto thing on YouTube, which is hilarious. But you have to know your audience. You can, you got to do it right. You got to do it right. And, we might get the argument, but did the jury get the argument? And now they heard all of that. Now they heard her say they drug him out of prison when they're like, oh, why is he in prison? Oh, because he murdered someone. It's like, yeah. Swizzar says, when you move, okay, for $5, thank you, by the way, saying, okay, when you move or carry a gun, do you meticulously make sure it is never pointed at anyone? I do my best because I don't want guns pointed at me. I mean, that's a big deal. I don't like people pointing guns at me, and I try to reciprocate that issue. If I end up pointing at somebody and they call, like, I'd feel horrible. But especially in a courtroom where some yahoo's handling a gun I haven't had a chance to inspect. Yeah, I've had guns pointed at me before in a courtroom, and I haven't had a chance to handle it yet. So I don't know if it's safe. I'm not trusting all these people. Especially, like, I've been in case where the prosecutor's handling a gun. Like, I know that prosecutor wears Harry Potter ties. And, like, his Facebook profile is like, I'm in House Dildodorf or whatever it is, or Grumblebutt or whatever the Harry Potter crap is. And you're like 35 years old reading Harry Potter. Like, I think that's one of the handful of times he's touched a firearm. I'm not trusting him that he knows that it's unloaded or how it operates. So no, I'm not just going to be like, it's okay. I mean, there's also the idea of gaming the system, when you're in trial type of thing too, though. WMMAC now for $4.99 says, thank you. They're saying for the late but totally monogamous corn harvest last night. Thank you. Salty says it sounds like a Tim Pool story. It kind of does. It kind of does. Oh. Ninja Bread Man says, why would you not use the... Yes, hold on, I gotta do the retainer voice. Why would you not use the impelled down art from One Piece instead? It's a bunch of casuals. Zaven says, true facts, black people love bleach. I understand that, but I don't think all the black people in that jury know what the hell bleach is, other than they put it in their sheets to keep their whites white. Alpha Fox says, objection, cringe. Yes. Legal Vices. Jeff, thank you. Thanks for being here. For 5,000 won. See, that's like winning Squid Game, isn't it? 5,000, that's a lot. Says, you go, girl. And you too, defense lawyer. Oh. But yes, thanks for being here, Jeff. I appreciate it. If you guys haven't subscribed to him, he's got a great channel, Legal Vices, covering a lot of things. His Maritime Mondays are great. If you want to learn kind of some of the aspects of maritime law, which is really neat. It's one of the few areas of law where that's still kind of like a free for all, because there's like you can take ships that get abandoned. If you can go take it over, it's yours now. Like there's all kinds of neat stuff that's from the olden days that never really changed. And Gertrude saying, was the jury black, Naruto, or Dragon Balls? He would be better. Yeah. And so, okay, and Zaven saying Bleach is more popular with black people than Naruto. I didn't know that. I will file that away. I'll file that away for appropriate when I feel like I need to do an anime reference. I'll be like, okay, what's my jury composition, and I'll break out the list. Pepsi Man for $2 says this is like when Krillin got killed by Frieza. Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh. Pie Case says, I don't trust lawyers with pink hair. Some lawyers with pink hair have been good, but it all depends. That's a shame for 199 says, I'm reading Harry Potter right now. Well, thank you for the super chat, but read another book. I mean, go read like Tom Clancy. Go read like I don't know. Shoot. Like, go read something good, like like Fry the Brain, The Art of Urban Sniping and Its Role in Modern Guerrilla Warfare by John West. Not a bad read. There's a lot of books you can read. Isaac Baruch again for $5, saying just like a comedian, you need to know your audience. Funny that Codename Super does some fantastic work in her style, but far funnier. Scott X is bleached. Mr. Sniper says, why did they stop the jury from asking questions? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the whole thing was with that. This trial is already kind of tipping the scales of like things we talk about in other trials at times. It's I don't know. It's just turned into a mess. Kimbo says, what if the judge is a Naruto fan? She took a major risk. Yes. I think it's safe to assume the judge is not an anime fan. I'm just taking a guess there. Actually, hold on here. So Lemon Party says, if you know Admiralty law, you can protect your real domicile from road pirates. Yes. Very true. Very true. Reform says 5,000 won. Sounds like a terrible 80s porno name. Oh, very good. Well played. Well played. Oh my God. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. Petty says, read Tolkien. Yes. Yes. Not bad. Read The Abolition of Man by C.S. Lewis. That's a good read. You'll read that and you'll think he was a fucking, like, traveled back in time to write that book. That's a shame, says no. Read a Gosney book. Read Gosney books aren't bad, including Prepare and Answers and Explanations. Yes. That's a shame, says I'm reading it in Espanol. I mean, Enrique, what's Enrique? I don't know what's Potter and that. So, and Future Miss Mary 2.0 says read Steve Gosney's books. Yeah, very true, very true. Automata for $2 says Bleach, Jussie, no. At Sybil hashtag, New to Sean, this is good LawTube content. Thank you. I appreciate it. Swizgar is saying for $5. Thank you, by the way. Saying, have you read any of the Marines in Space books by Ian Douglas? I have never heard of those. Marines in Space. Hold on here. Save this for later. No, I've not. Sounds like that might be good. Thank you for the recommendation. Yes, email Noel about anime all the time. He loves it. I know. Nonstop. Pepsi Man for $2 saying a real book like Industrial Society and Its Future. Yes. Very true. That is always a timeless read as well. Isaac saying the Screw Tape Letters, that's a C.S. Lewis book. Fucked me up in college. Probably should reread it and get some more wisdom out of it. Yes. You guys are Harry Potter and the monogamous relationship. Jesus. Oh. All right. Yeah. Oh no, I just Google's telling me about something there. Yeah, it looks like that's a pretty good series. I'll give it a shot and look at it. The name of some sorts is Enrique Pedro and El Siesta Holmes. Oh. Rabbit Six, did we cover Pringles yet? No, that's going to be next. Actually, we're moving on to that now. So moving from one shit show to another. From one shit show to another, I think. Ohio man. Well, fills many roles in society here in Ohio. All kinds of people, including attorneys. Attorneys can be Ohio man. Like myself, I'm Ohio man, I think, in some way. But this attorney, this Ohio man, there is a king who is missing his crown. So an Ohio attorney got caught for throwing a poop-filled Pringles can at a victim advocate center. And a victim advocate are people who work with victims of crimes, typically violent crimes, and interact with them as a go-between with the prosecution, but also helping them get services and things they may need to deal with the fact that they've been victimized by somebody. And his license has been suspended for a year. Hopefully only 6 months, but the attorney was down in Noble County. If you're not aware Noble County is, it's way down in southeastern Ohio. It's down there in the hills. It's down there in fracking country. It is, yeah, it's not bad. It's nice. It's quiet. But the attorney is a guy named Jack Blakesley. And the Supreme Court just passed down his discipline. And the way it works in Ohio, I'm not sure how every other state does it, but they do here. You get disciplined. And the way it works is the Supreme Court of Ohio is the one in charge of governing attorneys. The Ohio Bar Association doesn't really govern attorneys. It's an informal association of attorneys. They use what's called disciplinary counsel to conduct its investigations. So they report their findings to the court. And when you get punished, even if it's a formal reprimand, whatever it is, it all gets put out on blast. Now, they don't like drag you through the streets, but they publish opinions. So it'll say, the disciplinary counsel v. Jeez, that was not very smooth there. Disciplinary counsel v. Blakesley in the matter of. So what happened here? Well, Blakesley was appointed to take care of an aggravated murder case. In Ohio, that means this could be a capital murder case. And in this situation, the victim was under the age of 13 which made it a capital offense, meaning the death penalty was eligible. That doesn't mean they have to seek it, but it could be sought. At this guy's arraignment, Blakesley appeared, and so did the victim's advocate, a lady named Michelle Wilkinson. And they had known each other for many years because it's normal, and it's very normal. The courts I'm in, it's very easy to know who the victim's advocates are, the victim liaisons are. You know who they are all the time. It's, pretty standard. So the morning of him heading to court on November 30th, so 2 years ago, he was driving to court for this murder case. And as he drove by the advocate's office, he hucked a Pringles can. Well, before he left, he deposited his own crap. Not like he went and scooped up dog turds or rabbit turds or some cow shit. No. He literally took a crap. I'm hoping God almighty, I hope the man was wearing gloves, because I don't think he was able to aim right into the can. That would have been, that's impressive if he did that. But more than likely, he probably crapped, I don't know, onto something, scooped it up, and put it in the can. Now, you have to be thinking he's doing it like you might put peanut butter on bread. He takes it and squishes it in there and then wipes his hands off on the edge. Does he wipe off the edges and seal it? Hopefully he's wearing gloves. But he put it in an empty Pringles can. And he drove to the victim advocate's place, which is called the Haven of Hope. And it's right next to the county courthouse. It's less than 0.2 of a mile away. He slowed down, drove by it once, turned around, came back down the alleyway, and yeeted a can of crap into the parking lot, and then drove to the pretrial. So it wasn't like he's like, oh, it's a day, I'm just going to go terrorize these people for fun on Saturday night. No, I'm going to court and I'm riding around with this, steaming pile of shit in my car with me. Usually attorneys are driving around with steaming piles of crap. It's because they wrote a bad motion, not literally a steaming pile of crap. But the lady who runs the advocacy center watched him throw it out and watched the can roll towards her car. And when she approached it, she discovered what appeared to be a bunch of shit in there. So she went and told the prosecutor after the hearing, and he got charged with disorderly conduct. Minor misdemeanor disorderly conduct, meaning he could only face fines. There was no jail time attached. And littering. So he was ultimately brought up to the disciplinary council, and he admitted that he had done this on at least 10 other occasions that year. So at least on average once a month, he's chucking pieces of shit randomly down the road at things. Why does it also have to be Pringles cans? That part is also perplexing to me. Maybe there's some sort of underlying pathology why it's got to be a Pringles can. I'm not sure. He claims he didn't know it was the specific place, but it doesn't seem to be that information didn't hold out. So, hold on here. All right. So they did find out that he violated the rules of professional conduct. Disciplinary council did. Is ruled 8.4, prohibiting a lawyer from engaging in conduct that reflects on the lawyer's fitness to practice law. Now, here's the issue, and the Supreme Court is looking at this, and they say, yeah, his conduct's not specifically prohibited by the rules of conduct, but Rule 8.4 is a catch-all here because, the average person is going to look at, you guys are looking at this saying it's base, it's funny. The average person, Susie Soccer Mom's going to be like, wait, he's playing with his poop? That sounds like a crazy man. Would you hire this attorney? You're sitting in jail facing the death penalty possibly, and you find out your attorney's throwing pieces of his own shit at people as he drives down the road in his car. Are you sitting there thinking, as you're sitting there eating your, sitting in your isolated cell, you're like, I'm walking out of here a free man. No, you're like, I guess I better go die. So the recommended sanctions, the disciplinary council said he should get reprimanded. And I think a reprimand is very important. because I mean that's going to hurt him, because anytime you Google his name, it's going to be like attorney reprimanded for playing with his turds in public. Not that he may have got a successful career as an attorney. It's guy plays with shit. Like, that's what happens when you Google his name right now, and will be forever. But he admitted he engaged in a pattern of conduct, and he had been doing it routinely. There's a bunch here where they talk about how things were worked out, but yeah, he had been a defense attorney for 40 years with no other problems. He also fully cooperated and demonstrated a, willingness to cooperate. And that is a very big deal. You are expected as an attorney to cooperate with the investigating groups. That is something that no matter what it is, you're expected to cooperate. If you don't, that's something they can actually punish you for. That is one of the things when you're an attorney, that's what you got to deal with. Makva says based and poo pilled. That's just saying, just they can't write rules to anticipate man's endless capacity for fuckery. Yes. Oh. Garrett says he ran out of Subway bags. Yes. Maka saying I would. Oh, you guys would hire that attorney. Yeah, you're like, oh, I'll hire him. That's a shame. It's more sturdy than a chip bag. I mean, chip bags are pretty tough. I mean, as long as you're not ripping them apart. Yes, Das Boot says yes. This segment of the Thursday Night Crime Stream is sponsored by Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop pooping in them. Phone Punk says this sounds like a Hunter Biden move. Yes. Oh, Aaron Heck already beat me to it. Once you pop, you can't stop. Yes. And I am sure at some point, Blakesley in his hearing said, I'm sorry, I thought this was America. So they talk about the issues there. He had already also been punished by paying for, the convictions. He accepted full responsibility, expressed remorse, and he said that he's no longer doing it. Blakesley was a Vietnam veteran, and he said that he had PTSD related to his service, and he was abused as a child. But I will say he owned up and said, this isn't like the excuse. It's not because my mommy didn't love me that I did all this. And he said he was embarrassed by the public revelation of his misconduct and resulting media attention. I know. Sorry, Jack. Sorry, brother, but this is too funny not to look at. I'm sorry. Both parties acknowledge that very few, if any, prior cases offer guidance regarding the appropriate sanction for the misconduct here. That's a good thing that we don't have a lot of cases on point for attorneys playing with their poop. Now, this is a little bit different here. And if you guys weren't aware, this is how it's looked at in a lot of places. The purpose of the disciplinary action is not to punish the offender, but protect the public, and show that the public were policing the profession. And they asked for the reprimand. They then focus on an attorney here. This guy's name was Lennon. He was running around flashing women like over 30 times. There's another attorney they talk about that had done a lot of things here. In Blauvelt, this attorney was driving around naked and got caught whacking it in his car. So there's some things that have happened that are close, but that's the closest thing they could find. And then this is the neatest part. In Oklahoma, an attorney, among other violations, issued a client a refund check that was soiled with crap. Now, from what I understand about this case here, Bailey apparently wiped his ass with the refund check. So, yeah. So, I do like, they point out that, Blakesley failed to control his own bizarre impulses to place feces-filled cans out in public for unsuspecting people to find. Yeah, it's a bit of an issue. It's a bit of an issue. And yeah, I think if he hadn't done this with his own poop, but had been picking up like animal poop. I think the Supreme Court may have like thought a little differently about this. But it's when you're playing with your own shit, people tend to think you're crazy. And they also point out the circumstantial evidence weighs against him, saying that he randomly chose the advocacy center as his drop zone. I love how they word it as a drop zone on November 30th. So, yes. Now, he did explain during his hearing, because when they interview you as part of the investigation, there's a deposition, that he did it to blow off steam and then he got a kick out of it. I mean, I guess it's better than beating your kids or kicking the dog or, doing other things, picking up hookers. Like, how do you blow off after, man, it's been a long, hard week. Well, what are you off to? What are you off to, Bob? I'm going to go throw shit out the window of my car. It's been like everybody's working for the weekend, I guess, in their own way. It was like a release. I'm sure there was a release when you actually did the crapping, but a secondary catharsis. That diarrhea, like just removing of everything. Literally twice. He agreed that his conduct was not normal. And he stated there has to be something going on that's related to some of the things I went through in early life. Sure. But I think you got an issue with poop just in general. I mean, like some people have that. And they also highlight here, one of the bigger issues is, even though he regrets it, it appears he doesn't have sufficient insight to the origin and motivation of his inappropriate behavior to affect the change. So they're looking at this saying, well, how do we know he's not going to change himself? He doesn't know how to stop it. He doesn't know what the triggers are. And we conclude the appropriate sanction is a 1-year suspension with 6 months, stayed on the condition he engaged in no further misconduct. So, yeah, he's got to sit for 6 months. So, but after that, he will be allowed to practice again. Just, just the pooping. Goalie says so it was steaming, yes. Rolling in clover like horse turds. Analytical T gifted another 20 memberships. Holy cow. Handing out to everybody. Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. I'm sure everybody's going to appreciate that. Isaac Brooks saying, what do you think a non-practicing attorney stuffs his poo-poo in or in his poo-poo? Thanks for making a crap week highly entertaining. Well, I mean, it's going to be hard to poop into a whiskey bottle. So, I mean, you're going to have to you're going to have to Play-Doh that and kind of smush it in there. But I bet it could be done. J-Rock says, go to his website, About Us. Oh, well, hold on here. Let's see. Has he got a website? Yeah, here we go. Well, there's only... Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, my God. We're going to... Okay. We're going there, J-Rock. Holy Jesus. I don't know what the hell happened here. Okay. So this is Jack Blakesley's webpage. He's an attorney out of Caldwell, Ohio. That's in Noble County. There's the Noble County Courthouse. So we're just going to get down to the About Us page. There's not really a whole lot to talk about us. He's been practicing for 40 years, focuses only on criminal defense, which that's got to be nice. You can only do that. But I think he's also older, so he might be a little retired. He's retired. He can kind of focus on that. OVIs and then, felony drug charges, which they get a lot because there's a lot of highway traffic there. And other felony cases in Guernsey, Noble, and Washington counties in Ohio. So, yes, he's noble. Well, he wasn't very noble with the poop. So here's the gallery of pictures. Oh, this looks nice. And then, we got that picture, and then there's here a Pringles can. I shit you not. I intentionally made a funny there. I shit you not. I wonder if somebody why did somebody you kind of have to hope somebody hacked the website and that wasn't intentional. Because if that's the case, man's got a lot of issues. But I hope the best for him. I hope he gets back in the saddle, gets back to putting it out there and racking up those dubs. Hopefully he remembers, poop goes in the potty, though. Poo site, yes. Zaven saying being known as a shit-flinging moron is not a good look for anyone, yeah. Anything goes is if you're not a lawyer, how are cops going to handle people who are doing this? Well, in this situation, it'd probably be similar to like disorderly conduct. And because there's no sexual motivation behind it. So it'd probably be disorderly conduct and littering. Now, throwing it at a victim advocate like that, and let's say it's somebody you knew that was going to trial for murder, that could be seen as like intimidation. Because they're working under the auspices of like the prosecutor's office. You could run into some issues there. So it wouldn't be a good idea. Might be considered menacing, which is what in Ohio is, a lot of places considered assault, where you make somebody feel that they're facing serious harm. So, yeah. So this is yeah. Jeff saying, once you poop, you can't stoop. He mentions it. He was in Vietnam. I'm a pretty big military history guy. I know like the Punji pits had feces in them, but I can't recall any time where the North Vietnamese attacked using tubes of shit. So I'm not sure what he saw back there that, maybe it's like the deer hunter and he's like, I just got to poop in cans now. Like he's squeezing out pitching a growler into that Pringles can. He's like, this is this. So Mike Childers says the Pringles can's coming for the Supreme Court. Yeah. Yes. Garrett says he can use the thermos to keep it warm. Oh my God. This is just, oh my God. This is too good. J-Rock is saying scroll down. Yeah, I thought I did. There's more. Is there a Pringles manifesto? No. Aaron says scroll again. Yeah. Garrett says that a knife tree outside the courthouse. I've only been in the Noble County Courthouse once, and that was when I was doing oil work. Like I was only there for like an hour, and that was like 10 years ago. So I don't remember if they have a knife tree or not. Yes, William says the evidence was always right under our noses. Yes. Charlie, don't flush. Oh my God. You guys are some funny, funny people. Agazing, is there a photo of the suspected can? There probably is somewhere. Might be able to like FOIA at this point. Anything goes. This is. Oh, you win the internets tonight. I award you I award you one order of the internet. for valorious shitposting. You know how his Nam stories start. There I was in the shit. Oh God, you guys are amazing. Some days this is. Brento says I miss all the funny shit. No. Yeah. Winter Soldier. Yes, I've seen some of those. Dr. Cookie Monster perform. Oh God. We're gonna have to cover the stuff in locals later because some of that's not. YouTube will hate me. But yes, there you go. Oh, William says their viral marketing campaigns have gone too far. Yes. The consumerism must stop, man. So let's keep moving. We got to keep moving, guys. We got to keep moving. We got stuff to talk about. All right. So we got the poo done. Got the big old, like a Joe Dirt, big old chunk of poopy. Now, moving on from there, we have so we have an update in the Kansas newspaper case. If you guys don't remember, in Marion, Kansas, the Marion Record was raided by the local police force because they were reporting on government misdeeds. And I know we covered it. They executed the search warrant for the owner of the newspaper and his elderly mother, who was also the owner of the newspaper. They raided their home while this 90-year-old lady was there, as she's screaming at the cops, calling them pieces of shit, fuckers, and fascists. And so worked up, she died the next day. Now, I'm sure the police can be like, oh, that just happens. Well, we also saw the video of them walking in and seizing all the newspaper's equipment, which, after it got beknownst to the world, the prosecuting attorney looked at it and said, yeah, this shouldn't have been granted. Why are you doing this? And we also found out the magistrate was just like, yeah, cool, seize everything. Well, there are some big updates. And this is just the beginning here. So this case has been being done a lot by a woman named Jess McMaster. She has been over on Twitter. You can follow her here. She's got a really followers. She keeps talking about she keeps following this. She's all over it. And I follow her for this reason alone. She's doing really good work on this. But in this one, it's interesting because obviously the chief has a cell phone. He is conducting records. So guess what? As the public, we have the right to request those records. Well, the city's attorney says that the chief and his personal cell phone have left the state. For those of you at home with the FOIA request, that's not how this works. And it's interesting further because the attorney hired by the city of Marion has doubled down on refusing to turn over the cell phone records from Chief Gideon Cody's personal cell phone, and in doing so confirmed they left the state of Kansas. So this attorney, Jennifer Hill, who represents both Cody and the city of Marion, which that is very dangerous when you represent two clients like that, because very quickly their priorities may change and you no longer have a unified goal. Well, let's say their goals become diametrically opposed, and to help A, you harm B, or to harm B, you help A, or to help B, you harm A. Well, what do you do then? Well, now you have conflicts of interest. And I mean, the way that happens is you have to then excuse yourself because side B has confided things in you. Well, now you know them, and what's to say you're not going to help side A? It's a conflict of interest, and vice versa. This is just a dumpster fire waiting to happen. It's only going to get worse. But the news asked for the conversations because they believe he used his phone on city business. And that's the thing. If you are a public official and you have a personal phone and you use it to do city business on, you read email, if you're reading emails, sending things, answering things, well, guess what? That part is a public record. And those records can be subpoenaed. They can be FOIA'd. Now, does that mean they get to see access to everything? No, but it can lead to a situation where somebody's going to sort through your phone to figure out what's going on. And yeah, some embarrassing stuff might get leaked out. So, if you are in a public situation, be careful about what you do with these. If you have a personal phone. So, yes, but in the meantime, apparently Chief Cody has left the state of Kansas because he's a little bitch. I mean, yes, this man here is running because he's scared like a little bunny rabbit. Because he realized, oh no, they're going to find out I'm the real Nazi all along. Yeah. So there have been multiple things that have gone on, including the business owner that was the center of this whole thing had been asked by the chief of police to delete text messages that he sent to her. So, now the attorney saying that, well, and here's the other part. The business owner said that the chief sent her text message regarding the case. New release body cam footage, which I haven't seen yet, reveals Chief Cody telling her not to put anything in writing. Yes, correct. Don't put it in writing. But don't then fucking record yourself saying it. I mean, come on now. Come on now. Really, come on now, Chief. Like, seriously.
Nigga, is you taking notes on a criminal fucking conspiracy? What the fuck is you thinking, man?
It's timeless. It's timeless. Yeah, always in cash, yes. Always in cash even means on your videos. Yes, they sent text messages to not reveal anything and destroy it. And the attorney said that the Kansas Open Records Act, I didn't realize you guys didn't see this earlier, sorry, provides no enforcement mechanism to obtain messages of private emails from personal cell phones or email accounts. If they're done on behalf of public business, I guarantee you they're covered. So, the attorney tried to make up a bunch of bullshit, but the attorney general for Kansas, there's laws that officials who conduct their business on private devices, yeah, it's discoverable. Now, it's interesting because even the Kansas Bureau of Investigations, the Attorney General's office, knew the raids were going to happen. And they sent an email to the police saying, did you guys execute this warrant yet? So, and yes, they talk about the search warrant for Eric Meyer, the residence of the newspaper owner. I mean, this thing is just getting worse and worse, and these people are scumbags. Yeah. So it's only getting worse. I think we're going to find out. People are going to go to jail for this at the end of the day. That's the good news. I just think it's going to take a little while. So just hang in there. Anything Goes says, send a text saying do illegal shit. Yeah. Yes, destruction of records. Yep, evidence tampering. Yeah, it's don't get to do that. Don't get to do that. So it's a nice classic police OPSEC, yeah. So Brimstone says, "Poor naive Sean thinks justice happens." Well, if we can't believe in justice, then we then resort to self-help, and that's not always a good thing. So yeah, you gotta have that faith. Also, be a little weird if I come in here and tell you guys don't have faith. That's a little bit of a little doesn't work that way. I think is a bit of a problem there. So, where are we? Oh, yes. Now going on to, we talked about this before. Tammy Sytch, the former WWE diva known as Sunny. She had a bit of an oopsie a while back. She got drunk and ran over a guy and killed him. So she was just sentenced to 17 years in prison. That is not Sunny. I don't know why that picture is there. But this is a picture of Sunny now. And she pled guilty to a couple of counts, including DUI and manslaughter, driving a license suspended, and her license suspended because of her prior jailing of multiple months for a prior DUI offense. So she showed up and she was given 17 years in prison. She's been in jail for over a year, so she gets credit for that. Yeah, so she was drinking. They found an open bottle of vodka. Yeah, not good stuff. Not good stuff when they yeah. Yes, her blood alcohol is between 0.32 and 0.36. Nearly 4 times the legal limit. Yes. And she said she didn't remember the crash. She remembered making burritos, and then she remembers being in the hospital. And here's Tammy as she shows up. And it's just, if you guys hadn't seen these, here's, a lifetime of drinking does. And yeah, it's here's the thing though. When you've killed somebody and you've got a lifetime of like DUIs and drinking all the time, saying like, I wanted to, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a doctor, and doctors take an oath to do no harm. Don't go down that road. Don't go down that road. But she did talk about all the nice things she did with the WWF and the WWE. She had done Make-A-Wish stuff. She had done a lot of good things there. She said that, and this is the part when I read this before. She lost her dad to heart disease, and she lost her 87-year-old mother while she was in jail. Her mom died. I never got to say goodbye to her, just as they didn't get to say goodbye to their beloved family member. I didn't get to, I miss my mom dying. Is not what you want to talk about when you're facing prison for killing someone and saying, I'm just like them too. Look, it's all the system victimizes everyone, Judge. Like, no. God, I don't know. I would have jumped out of my chair and like put my hand over her mouth. She started talking like that because, oh, holy jeez. We're gonna need to leave on a happy note. Yeah, okay, hold on. So if you guys weren't aware, Sunny, if you guys haven't seen her before and after, we'll use this one here. So if you guys hadn't, well, no, that didn't work. Why is it so small? There we go. This will work. If you guys don't remember who Sunny was, this is her back in the day. She was one of those old school original WWE divas. Back with China and Sable and all that back in the day. So she yeah, so that's her. And yeah, it was just horrible. That you can't do that. You can't do that. It's can't do it. And it didn't help that she had already been just released from prison for the drinking, released from jail for a stretch of jail for drinking. So, obviously she has a drinking problem. She got 3 DUIs in 2015 alone in 1 month, and it wasn't her first DUI. She's had a bunch. So, she'll get out at some point, but not right now. Not right now. Not right now. So that is that. Trying to knock out the last couple of issues here. Wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on with former President Trump. So his case where he is appealing the findings out of Colorado that Joe showed, that trial where he got, the judge was like, "You're being a bad man, Joe, for airing this. How dare you?" Well, that is being set for oral arguments in front of the Colorado Supreme Court. Now, some of you might say, why is this going straight there? Typically with these election issues and these administrative things, you don't go the normal path. A lot of times there's a finding at a, superior court or common pleas court, and then it goes right up the chain. Well, in this case, it is being heard. The Supreme Court has scheduled a hearing in his 14th Amendment case. They are trying to get the overturning of the allegation of the finding he committed insurrection. And the opposition to him is the Coloradans for Responsible and Ethical something or another in Washington. They are appealing this because they think he is bound by Article or Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, saying that he is an officer of the U.S. and that he needs to be removed from the ballot. So we do know that it will be on December 6th, and that is a Wednesday. And the neat thing is the state Colorado Supreme Court does do live streaming, and they live stream it. They have a YouTube channel. And the good news is, well, we will be covering that day. It'll be a fun time. It starts at 1 p.m. out in Colorado. So that is 3 o'clock here on the East Coast in Eastern time zone. So it will be. Hold on 1 second, guys. All right. Apparently, I was notified I didn't show enough. I didn't show Bob's. Yeah, I did. I showed this. I thought. Here's Sunny back in her heyday. Back when, I think it's SmackDown. This would have been like right in the middle of SmackDown era. Like when SmackDown was like the thing. So there you go. Back when she was running around back in the day. That's Sunny back in the day, and you can see where she's at now. So but getting back to this, it'll be at 1 p.m., 1 hour on December 6th. We will cover that. I will be doing it. It'll be 3 p.m. Eastern time, 2 p.m. Central, obviously 1 p.m. Mountain time, and then noon. You can have a nooner out on the West Coast. And then whatever in Alaska it is, I don't know. Yes, I didn't show it, Boomer. There you go. You got to see the picture. Why you show no pic? Because I wanted to torment you guys. She banged Shawn Michaels. Good for her. So, Luke says, what time is it in New Zealand? I don't know. Don't know, mate. Don't know. So that will be interesting to see. The ultimate issue with his, where is it here? There's not, if you guys haven't seen it yet, there is a big like, oh my God, he's saying he's not bound by the oath he took. That's not what they're arguing. And it's very simple. And it's summarized on an entire page. It's very straightforward to look at. There's other parts of it they use, but I think it's, it's the president is not an officer and he didn't take an oath to support the United States. Okay, well, how do we know that? Well, he's not an officer in the terms because it doesn't include officer. All the appointments clause and the impeachment clause and the commissions clause delineate who's an officer. So those people are governed by Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. That doesn't mean the president is. They also then point out previously taken an oath to support the Constitution of the United States. They talk about that right there. Supporting the Constitution of the United States. Okay, well, that's important. Supporting the oath. But Trump's is to protect and defend the Constitution. That's different. It's a different oath. I don't know who it was I was arguing with over on Twitter about this, but it's literally, yes, they're playing semantics. Yes, the idea of formal semantics, that words do mean things. That's how the law works. Does this definition fit this set of facts? That's the entirety of how law works. Specific words mean specific things. And they point out that, the oaths are not just linguistic variants. So, they point out that this was carefully drafted not to apply to the president. So, they point out here that there's, that's the summary of it. So when you guys see people freaking out about it, don't freak out about it. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Let's see here. Where are you? Let's see what you guys did. Oh, people are messaging. What the heck? Where's the other? So, over in Rumble, in the live chat, in Rumble, the Dukes for $2. It looks like it's been a little while ago. I apologize. It's funny because prosecutors get away with significantly worse behavior. Yes, they do. I don't know why that just showed up, man. That's horrible. But thank you for bringing it up. Yes, thank you for the Rumble rant. I appreciate it very, very much. Can't believe that didn't show up. So, like I said, we'll have to see what happens with Trump going forward. The best thing that happened, though, in the meantime was Richard Allen. And we're going to end on a strong, strong note here. Okay. Oh my God. You guys and locals, these pictures, these AI pictures. God, that looks like me playing with a Pringles can. That's so horrible. Oh, makes me feel dirty looking at them. If you guys are in the locals chat, you can join there and figure out for yourself. So Richard Allen and his attorneys have fired back at the state of Indiana and also Judge Gull. And they weren't entitled to a response, but they asked for one and the court granted it, which I think is actually important here. So they fire back and they are the religious response to respondents and the attorney general and their objections. Okay. So he gets to it and they lay it out. This case presents the paradigm situation for a writ of mandamus. Yeah. This is entirely where they've got to do it. And they point out, and this is something I know, I don't know how well Kurt focused on this, there's been a lot of problems because this is all because of the judge. The judge created these problems. She severed the relationship of the attorneys and their client. They point out that a court-initiated discharge would properly fall within the court's original jurisdiction here. They made it clear she was discharging the attorneys on her own motion, regardless of how they proceeded or what the prosecutor wanted to do. We talked about that transcript. The judge said, you're either quitting or I'm firing you. You are being removed no matter what happens. And that she made it clear she was going to unequivocally sever their relationship, and there was no situation where they could proceed with representing him. So this is her fault. She caused this. To argue, oh, well, you got to follow the rules, like you're the reason why we're here. Now, they keep going on. There's a lot of quotations from the record and the transcripts. But this part here, and I know Kurt talked about this, and the attorneys hammer on this again. There's only 2 times where an Indiana court has trial jurisdiction to sever a relationship: when the lawyer's not a member of the state bar or the lawyer's an actual conflict of interest. And they point out that no Indiana court has ever tolerated a trial judge removing a lawyer from a case over the client's objection based on anything other than these 2 reasons. And throughout their combined 8,000 words and nearly 50 pages of briefing, so everything the attorney general and the judge said, they failed to present. And that's the thing. They're saying, well, this has never happened before, so you can't allow it. Richard Allen's attorneys are pointing out they have no authority to rely on either. And that's critical. No, this is an entirely novel issue. It's an issue of first impression. I mean, because this is so far out there. This is so far out there. Winter Soldier says, I outlasted Thursday Night Football 35-41. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I got the staminas. Don't you worry. That's a shame. Says, did Kara write it? I think she's one of the people here. I'll do you a solid. I'll go up to the top. Yes, Kara Schaefer Wanky. I know. I don't think she's wanky, but Winky, Wanky. I don't know. Sounds like some Polish name. But they point out there's no proof. Nobody's got anything that can help here. They point out every Indiana disqualification cited by the responding parties. And this is the thing. All those cases, and that's what we talked about earlier this week with the Knox case that judge cited. There was a conflict of interest, an unlicensed attorney or a judge being reversed because they removed a lawyer from a case for another reason. Yeah, there was no reason for any of this. The respondent obstructed, and the respondent's the judge. She obstructed the attorney-client relationship for reasons unconnected with the Sixth Amendment. I agree. It's because she wanted she decided this was going to happen. When she severed the relationship, she was acting on subjective opinions about their conduct outside the courtroom. And she claims that they violated the rules of professional conduct. Cool. All right. Well, the rules of professional conduct are not coextensive with the Sixth Amendment guarantee of assistance of counsel. And this is a Supreme Court case. Well, as we learned today, ethical standards can apply to a broad range of attorney conduct totally unconnected to the Sixth Amendment, like throwing shit at people. And the Sixth Amendment's concern is with, and this is where we talked about this before, guys, the standard for ineffective assistance of counsel is Strickland v. Washington. So not only does that standard have to fall below a certain norm, and it has to cause prejudice, but remember I told you that second part has got there's part 1, then there's part 2A, then there's part 2B. That deficient performance has a reasonable probability to alter the trial's outcome. So it's not enough that your attorney sucked. Your attorney did something wrong. Yes. Did it prejudice you? Sure. But had he not done that, would it have changed the outcome possibly? Reasonable probability. Not guaranteed, but is there a reasonable probability had your attorney not broken the rules or failed to represent you properly, would that have changed things? If it's not a reasonable probability, then it's not ineffective. It's not incompetent. So while they're hammering on this and the judge saying they're incompetent, she's not showing how any other attorney doing this would have, reasonable outcome. We even haven't even had the trial yet. So how do you know this is going to affect them? You can't say for sure. We also talk about this thing, and this is something I've been harping on for a while now. The judges claim they violated ethical rules, and the judge, if she thought there was a violation, is duty-bound under the rules of professional conduct and her rules of judicial conduct. So as a judge, if you know that an attorney's broken the rules in a case you're running, you have to report it. But the judge is also an attorney, so she has to report them under the rules of professional conduct as well. If you don't report conduct that you're aware of in a case you're dealing with, well, your ass is grass. That also works like if you're in a firm and your other attorneys are doing something wrong, you have an obligation to report that duty. I mean, it's mandatory snitching. And if you don't snitch and they find out you knew and you didn't say anything, you're in trouble. So this judge saying, well, I think they violated rules. You didn't tell anybody, so was it really that big a deal? But then you see the judge use the weasel words like, well, they knew or should have known it may have violated. That's her way of trying to get out of that. Well, if they may have violated it, so they might not have. And then why is she removing people for what they might not have done? Once again, all these roads go back to the idea of she doesn't know what she's doing. Because if she was, she wouldn't do this stupid stuff. Just saying. Just saying. That's a shame saying is Kara is the Steve Gosney of Indiana. Well, that's some good shit right there. That's some good shit right there. That makes me happy. That gives me an inspiration. Oh, that's a shame saying Weineke. Okay. So. I guess we're talking about Kurt. Jeez. Gonna leave that alone. So, let's finish up though with Richard Allen here. But they point out that these issues that the judge has a problem with, the judge never did anything, despite the violation of these rules happening a year ago. This happened over a year ago, and the judge didn't do anything about it. And now she's just airing out her grievances like this. You don't get to store them up. You don't get to do that. They also talk about the evidence like, oh, it was negligent. Well, the state of Indiana, the prosecutor, the police, and the court who were reviewing this matter determined that Attorney Baldwin is a victim of this guy who snuck in and fucked him over. So is he really negligent? He's a victim. And the judge is just looking for excuses to screw with people. Richard Allen, who's Rick, repeatedly asked the judge to refrain from severing the relationship, saying, Judge, please don't do it. Please don't do it. After the in-chambers meeting, Attorney Rossi filed a notice informing the court he was going to remain on the case. He said, fuck you, Judge, I'm not quitting. As well as a motion for the judge's recusal. The judge said, well, you should have filed. It's like, they did. And then look what the judge did. She struck the pleadings and indicated she would take no action. So once again, this is how shitty the judge is. Well, you need to file stuff. Well, I did file it. Well, you struck it. Well, you should have filed stuff, but you struck it. You should have filed things, but you struck it. They filed motions to reconsider the removal. They've repeatedly argued that the respondent lacked jurisdiction to disqualify counsel. They're saying, you can't do this, Judge. The next day, when they retained themselves as pro bono, they appeared on their own. They again made the argument the court had no authority to remove them. Happens again and again and again. 6 separate times, they try to say the court has lacked jurisdiction to disqualify them. And then this is, I think, a very important thing they're pointing out. The judge is the reason why this is not getting done. This conduct has delayed the administration of justice. Richard Allen wanted to go to trial in January. And he had a right to a speedy trial, and the judge ruined that. No one else did. The judge. They point out, defendants do try to sometimes screw with the system and fire their attorneys at the last minute to, cause things to get reset. And sometimes the judges will reset it. Sometimes the judges say, nope, that's your attorney. Either you go to trial with that attorney or you go to trial by yourself. Kind of like Darrell Brooks. He fired his attorneys on the eve of trial, and they said, well, you can use them or you're on your own. And Darrell Brooks decided to go on his own. And they point out here that the judge delayed the proceedings to insert counsel of her choice. Yes, 2 attorneys from Fort Wayne, Indiana, including one who's already made statements in the media that, yeah, Richard Allen's kind of fucked. That's not good. You can't do that. That is, once again, we're talking about incompetence. Frankie, if you're out there, honey, I'll help you. Just we'll straighten this out. I can help you. We'll fix this. But yes, the trial now is set to begin in January. Now it's not set to begin until October because of the judge. Richard Allen didn't ask for that. They point out the judge has sat on multiple motions, including the Franks memo, suppressing the search warrant, sanctioning the state for discovery violations, for the perjury that's gone on, all the things that haven't happened properly. That they've had a pending motion for nearly a year, the state has not provided evidence. We're talking about negligence and incompetence, and I got a lot for you right there. The attorneys have asked for transcripts to be prepared, and the judge has not ruled on those. But no, they're the ones that are incompetent. I said they're incompetent. They point out she violated Sixth Amendment when she inserted counsel of her choice and delayed all proceedings. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So. And this is the thing here, and this is that part I was talking about before. When the judge says, well, you could have filed it. It's like, but you didn't let them. Well, you could have filed it on your own. What? He's supposed to file things on his own now? You're stripping his attorneys away from him. And they point out that there's this interwoven connection between Rick's speedy trial request and his Sixth Amendment violation. The judge is causing all the problems. How is he supposed to navigate through the judge? No, the court's got to step in and say, Francis, you can't do this. Honey, hit the bricks. We're going to have to get another judge in here. You can't do this. She's causing, these are all self-induced problems by the judge. This is, and this is something I didn't know at the time. But the murder charges were filed in October of 2022, and the parties agreed to set this case for trial on January 8th, 2024. This has been set forever. Like, since the start, this has pretty much been the trial date. The defense hasn't screwed around. This has been the day. Jenny says the attorneys removed themselves under threat of duress. I mean, to argue they voluntarily did this is far from, because if they hadn't done that, if they hadn't removed themselves, they violate the professional rules by damaging their client and letting the judge basically light this case on fire. So no, to argue that was voluntary in any stretch of the imagination is not, I don't think you can honestly consider that there. So this is just absolutely disgusting what this judge did. But I understand why Kurt's saying that. They voluntarily removed themselves, but they did it under protest. But they even stated, I'm doing this so you don't fuck my client over. Not, I'm doing this because I need to get out of here. They said it. This is bullshit. But to forcing those attorneys to force that issue to a head and make the judge go out there in open court. Imagine if we had heard all this shit on the record. That would have fucked Richard Allen unbelievably. And to turn around and say, well, the judge, you should have forced the judge to do that. That's fucking insane. If the Supreme Court of Indiana is like, well, to hold the judge's feet to the fire, fuck your client over. That's the way you got to do it. It's like, I don't think that's what the court's going to want. Like, the court doesn't want to set that precedent. That's not a good idea. Not a good idea. So, but they point out, like, it's been nearly a year reviewing the discovery, voluminous, developing a speedy trial strategy and pursuing a defense of third-party guilt. They were ready. These guys were ready to go and try it as scheduled. But the judge fucked it up. These attorneys were thrust onto him, new attorneys who were unprepared for a 3-week trial that was scheduled to begin in January. No attorney coming on this case could be ready. The only attorneys, Baldwin and Rozzi, can be ready for the trial within the limits of the Rule 4. They point out a direct appeal after the jury trial is nonsense. And they point out trials getting set in October 24 and is likely to get continued again. When the trial proceeds, there will be a Sixth Amendment issue that has never been resolved. It's never going to be fixed. This has to be done. They're pointing out that this is going to get, and this is important to say, you're going to get this reversed. This trial will be for practice only. The remedy on repeal will only be retrial and not retrial with the attorneys Baldwin and Rozzi. This guy wants his attorneys. There's only one way that can happen. They put out, even if Richard Allen is acquitted, his rights will still be violated because justice has been long delayed while his 50-year-old health continues to deteriorate in prison. And as Dr. King said, justice delayed is justice denied. And it doesn't matter how little it's been denied or how short of a time it's been denied. A denial of your justice, a denial of your rights is a denial of your rights, no matter how big or small. That's how it should be treated. Now, I understand courts, it's harmless error or the minute. No, your rights are violated or they're not. But this is a massive one. They point out an interlocutory appeal would only exacerbate the harm suffered. Under the best circumstances, the appeal take months before the decision is reached, assuming one can receive permission from both the trial court and the Court of Appeals. Yeah. Reversals, and this is important, reversals are just palliatives. The cure lies in the measures that prevent the problem. Yeah. Now they point out the trial court's respondents regarding trial counsel's performance and credibility. She can't oversee the trial. Yeah. This, they point out that yet even before the circumstances surrounding the discovery leak had been fully investigated, the judge already indicated she was going to disqualify them. She was already prejudging issues. She claimed that they were lying and making things up. That she was denying a motion even though no hearing had taken place on the motions. And that there was no opportunity for the defense to present evidence. Yeah, that's a little bit biased. That's very prejudicial. So it's not just an adverse ruling. It's a ruling that's not fair. It defies fairness. An opportunity to be heard. Jay Bettis, can a Superior Court remove her? Oh, the Supreme Court of Indiana can say you're hitting the bricks, sweetheart. They 100% can do that. Jenny's saying Kurt has the worst take. He doesn't, though. He has worked as an attorney. I mean, he worked in doing patent law and patent examining and all that. That is legal work. That's practicing. I mean, he's applying his legal knowledge and foundation and training. But no, I don't think his take is bad. I just think the arguments that there are a lot of arguments here that you're into the courtroom stuff. That's not just the appellate things. This is one of these rare times where the appellate stuff is going on. And generally speaking, what happens at trial, that's locked in. And then the appeal, you're kind of stuck with what happens at trial. So they're kind of like, you can't run outside the box. This is going to be one of those rare times where the appeal is going on in this writ. You're still this is a trial situation where you're making the trial arguments, not just the appellate arguments. But this is being done at, these people are putting in the work on both sides. So this is litigation, I'd argue, more than a appellate advocacy at this point. So I think it's a little bit different here. But as they go on, they point out if there's inaccuracies and falsehoods, well, they say that happened, but the judge failed to acknowledge that she relieved the sheriff of his burden to transport Rick's primary witness to the hearing so they could testify in support of Rick's motion. So she didn't let Rick bring his witness in. Well, that seems a little bit biased. Yes, the judge said, don't worry about retrieving the guy. Don't worry about it. He subpoenaed a witness. Don't worry about it, Sheriff. Don't bring him. Yeah. So they want a writ of mandamus to reinstate the attorneys, set the trial date 70 days within the issuance of the writ, and remove the special judge and appoint a new one. We'll see what happens. I think there's a lot there. So we will see. Jenny, I don't see. Here's the thing. I'm not saying he doesn't understand what's going on. I think he's looking at it solely based on appellate analysis, and I think there's a lot more going on here. But no, I think Kurt, I listened to a lot of what Kurt was talking about. No, he was calling balls and strikes. I don't disagree with how he called them. Overall, I mean, we can, that's how the law game works. We can all look at the same situation and have different, it's like doctors. Doctors might say it's something else, and Dr. A might think it's something else on top of that. So no, I wouldn't say he's, I think overall, I disagree with his ultimate conclusion, but overall, I think, I think he's looking at it in a way that's not irrational. It wouldn't be if the way he's looking at it is perfectly reasonable. And if a court were to do it, I disagree with it, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. But that's also the way I approach things is different than him. I get very passionate and emotional, and the way I handle this, and Kurt is very good about trying to stay within the lines because that's where you're supposed to be. So no, the way we do it is different, but one's not right versus wrong. So that's the thing. You're never going to hear me say, I mean, like, yeah, if he comes out and says like chili shouldn't have beans in it, yeah, he's fucking wrong. But otherwise, no. Brimstone is saying, Conor McGregor got, well, that doesn't surprise me, but let's see. Let's see what Twatter says. And actually, in the meantime here, we are going to have to do, I got to do the Nick thing. I got to go take a leak real quick. I'll be right back. Sorry, I thought we were unmuted. We're back. Should be unmuted now. You ain't an attorney until you've done a jury capital case. Well, by that logic, I'm not an attorney. I mean, I'd love to be involved on a capital case, but that has not happened yet. So, let's see. He got picked up last. Okay. Where are you guys? Yeah, a rogue chat. It wasn't that long. Kurt did make chili without beans. Okay, that's wrong. That's just meat paste. So, let's see here. You guys are the captain now. Yes, super fast. It helps. The bathroom is literally right outside the door. I know at the beginning people thought I was just like peeing in the room, but no. I do not use a bucket in the corner. If you go on Locals, there's a studio tour, and you can see how it's set up. Because I wanted to dispel that myth. But let's see here. Conor McGregor. Oh, he's under investigation. Yeah. Let's see here. So let's see here. Conor McGregor arrested. Haven't found a link yet, guys. Yeah, nothing. I mean, Conor McGregor's been arrested before. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. He's been arrested before. Just not for this. Just not for this. Just use a Pringles can. I don't think they're watertight. So, yeah, that is. Did I actually get up and use a toilet? That depends. I see what you did there. So, but yes, it will be interesting to see what happens with the Richard Allen case. So that is actually it, guys. We are all caught up. We got it all knocked out. 2.5 hours. 255 people here still. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, everybody. That is, I truly appreciate everybody sticking around the whole time. So that is it for tonight, guys. I'm not sure what tomorrow brings. There's a Future Conflicts tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. I will be on with them. With Scott and the gang. If you guys haven't been there before, Future Conflict is a really good show, Council on Future Conflicts, talking about things that are going on kind of all around the world and whether or not they affect you and what's coming. And also, I probably will be on with Eric Hunley tomorrow at noon. Part of Laid Back News. I'm not sure what legal things we'll be talking about, but we're talking about something. Sure it'll be something there. And yeah, so that will be fun. J-Rock says Locals. Oh yeah, we're going to Locals straight after this. We are going to Locals straight after this. Just got to wrap up the show. So in the meantime, guys, I appreciate everybody that's been here. Rumble, Kick, Twitch, Facebook, Locals, and of course, everybody over on YouTube. I appreciate it all. Everybody here, everybody commenting, thank you guys so much. I always appreciate it. Appreciate everybody who's joined as a membership, everybody who gifted a membership. And yes, thank you to everybody at the Super Chats. That I don't know how much we got, but we can give it a run for the money. I certainly appreciate that. So I will end with that. If you guys do want to see a video I just put out this week, was about the lady out in Missouri flipping off the police. I think it was pretty funny. Myself, I thought I did a pretty good job. My mom says I do a good job. But that is it for us. I will see you guys around. And remember, until next time, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Good night, everybody. I'll see everybody out on Locals very shortly.